we are going to continue with our previous test that we were doing. We were looking at our pound US dollar daily chart, and we were going candle by candle. So we're going to go take a look at that once again. So we'll continue where we left off last time. So we'll go one screen at a time, and we'll play this game. We'll see how many we can get correct in a row. So we'll play the game again. At this point, what we're really trying to do is get some practice in. I was looking at these one of these performance hacking. So I've been thinking a lot about performance and how to improve performance. So I've been studying different athletes. I've been studying different people who are at really who are high performers in different areas of their expertise. So kind of stepping away from just the trading world, because I find a lot of the stuff when it comes to trading is the same by the strategy. This is the holy grail. You can do this, do that. So I'm not too interested in that. What I'm trying to do is step away from the trading world and look at other areas. So I set a new goal for myself that I want to be one of the best in the world. And in order to be best in the world, you have to do what other people are not doing. So you have to go beyond what is considered acceptable in the field. So you have to kind of push your limits. So in order to do that, I've been studying a lot of top performance. And one of the things that I was looking at the other day in one of the sessions or in one of the videos that I looked at, and I actually went and got that book that I'm reading currently. I'll get the name of it. Basically what they said, that a lot of times what we do is any of the top performers, they spend 90% of their time practicing, and they only spend 10% of their time actually doing the activity. So for example, if we talk about pro athletes, for example, let's say NBA players, they actually spend more time practicing, and the number of games they actually play in the season compared to the number of hours that they spend practicing, or I should say number of hours on the field in the game versus number of hours that are spent practicing, whether that's practicing on the court or lifting weights and things like that. So there is a disproportionate amount of time spent practicing versus the amount of time spent performing. Whereas with us as traders, we do the opposite of that. We spend countless hours in front of our screens trying to get into trades or managing trades or just kind of staring at charts. And I think we're doing it wrong, or we're doing the other way around. So we need to focus more on the practice aspect as well. So this is a practice that I am instilling into my life, and making sure that we spend enough time practicing, and hence our backtesting jam session. So we are in no hurry to get anywhere. What we are trying to do is develop muscle memory. So, so thank you for joining me in this session. So we'll do this together. And as we do this, as we practice, at first I thought we would just track all the stats and stuff like that. So we'll track the stats for the forward testing, but for now, we'll just make a fun game out of it. We'll just guess. All we're going to do is, this is a guessing game. So imagine you are playing baseball and all, or you're not playing baseball, we're just in the baseball cage, and all we're going to do is we're going to swing the bat and try to hit the ball. That's the only aim. So we're not going to count how many we hit or not. The goal is to hit as many as possible. So that's our goal here. We're going to try to hit as many balls as possible. We're going to swing the bat and just connect with the ball and try to hit the ball. That's our only goal here. And we'll continue this. Well, we'll keep on going on with this one because, like I said, we need to spend more time practicing rather than just performing. So that's the goal here. We will get into stats. So starting next week, we'll be doing forward testing as well, and there will be plenty of stats on that. So right now, we're just developing muscle memory. We want to find out what happens when we actually, when we are looking at these candles. So daily candles, is what we're looking at. So this is a pound dollar daily chart. I'm using Forex tester to just back test this one. So we're going to go 1 day at a time. So each candle is 1 day. We're not going to speed through it. Again, another thing that I was learning about top performance is that the Malcolm Gladwell, the 10,000 hours of time, you may know if you follow me on YouTube, I do a YouTube show called 10,000 Trades. And the idea is to go through 10,000 trades to develop that muscle memory. So it's not just doing 10,000 repetitions of something that makes it successful. It's doing the deliberate practice. So even when we are doing the 10,000 trades, we have to be deliberate in what we're doing. The same thing, this is what we're going to do. That's why we won't actually speed through it. We're going to do it one candle at a time. And the idea is that we think about it, we analyze it, and we respond to it. Okay, so let's get started here. We are looking at our Forex tester here. This is what I'm going to do. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know, and we'll go through it. So, okay, so this is where we had left it off. This is pound dollar. Now we had gone all the way, so our move had gone down. Now we have gone all the way. We are into our previous support resistance area. Twice the price we had a double top here. Multiple times price had reacted to the support resistance area, and now we are back there. And we had this bearish candle close. So based on this bearish candle close, it's not quite an engulfing candle close, which means it can push up and then drop. So my bias now will be to the downside because we are back up here. However, there is some room to the top here, and the candle isn't bearish engulfing, so which means it could go higher. So overall bias is to the downside, but expecting a little push to the upside as well, which is possible. So let's see. So we'll start our test. Oops. Okay, so that kind of went a little too far. Okay, so this is where we were. So it had dropped and then it continued on. So it looks like we broke our previous resistance level. It dropped based on what we were thinking about, and then now it has pushed forward. So we'll just, we won't go backwards because we've already seen these candles. So let's just start from here. I didn't push pause in quick enough after I started the test, so hence the candles have gone further. So let's take a look now. Okay, so this is where we are. Price went and did a double top. We had a drop here. We are back into this support resistance area. So this level that was our support, or sorry, resistance level, is now acting as support. So here, if the price stays above here, we are likely to see the price move up. So let's go for it. Okay, so we are pushing into this support here. We're seeing pins on top. In this kind of scenario, what I would be looking for would be a break below this 1.5520 level and a hold below that level. So this is a similar scenario that we got actually in pound dollar today. Price was at support level, and then it tried to go through and then pushed back up. So what we need to do is we need to see a sustained move below. So normally under live market conditions, what I would be looking for here would be a break to the downside below this support level at 155.20, and then a back test of this level and a hold below. So this is where the best entry would be once price drops through, pulls back, and then stays below. So over here is where the best entry would be. So for now, we have to see how the price reacts. So this is a candle that I would not be trading, but I am looking for a reaction at this level. Okay, so here we are. So this is what I was talking about. A lot of times price will try to break through and then push back up. So this is kind of similar to what happened with the pound today as well. This was before pre-ECB. We had price drop and then it had pulled back. So now we are making this lower highs and lower lows. So the bias is to the downside. Price is pushing into our support level. We just need a close below this level. So again, on this day, I would be looking at my lower time frame. I would be looking for a break below here, and I would be looking for price to hold below the lower below our support level, and I would play this on a lower time frame. So I wouldn't be trading this on a daily chart, but on a lower time frame. So let's see what happens here. Here we are. So that's a good candle close below our support level. I like this candle close. So now we have been making lower highs, lower lows, and here we have a solid candle close below our support level where price was struggling for multiple days. So I like this one. Now it can back test here and then drop, but overall bias is to the downside. So I'm looking for price to drop. Let's see if it does that. There we go. Price drops. That's a good solid candle close here. And let's take a look at where we are in terms of support and resistance. We are into a little bit of a resistance, support over here. So let's, so my bias still is to the downside. I'm looking for price to drop. So let's see. Pulls back. So the bias is still to the downside, and it doesn't do that. So this is where it turns around. So now we're back into that area. We have a pin here. So with this one, it could just be a pullback because it's not quite strong candles. They are smaller candles. So with this one, the bias would still be to the downside, but this is not a candle that I would trade on a daily time frame. So I would just pass on that and look for a different chart to trade from, something that has a solid candle close. So with this one, we are still holding, it hasn't quite turned into an uptrend yet. So this is not a continuation of the uptrend yet. We are still waiting to see what price is going to do. That's not a very good candle close either. So we will skip that on a daily. Now, okay, so now price is closing below our support line level once again. So I would look for price to drop further. So let's see if it does that. There we go. So that's a good solid candle close, breaks this previous level. Nice candle close. So this is again a candle I would trade. So I'm looking for price to drop again, and pulls back, still looking for it to drop. We have a drop, looking for it to drop still, and it's going sideways now. So it's not completely it doesn't have a solid downtrend. So what could happen here is price could reverse here because it's not pushing lower. So normally if in order to see a trending move, we need to keep on going with this. Here price is just going sideways. So we have a bullish close. I would be looking for price to go back into this previous support resistance area. So let's see if we get that. No, we're holding below this now. Okay, so we have another candle close. So this one was all sideways. So it didn't really go anywhere. So for the last 4 or 5 days here, price traded in this range, went to the high, dropped, and now we are into the bottom. Now I am looking for price to drop. However, we need to be able to break below our support, our little range here. So it's ranging right now. Okay, so there we are. So it's ranging at the moment. So I'm looking for it to drop. So my bias is to the downside, but we could get stuck here at 153.20 level. So let's take a look. So this is what I was talking about. It tried to break through. Now we have an indecision candle. So that's not a best candle to trade. Again, this will be one of those days we look for another trading opportunity on a different chart. So one thing to remember though is when we have a candle like this, see how price does drop. So this is important to remember here because when we are trading, we could take advantage of that, especially on a smaller time frame. This is a tradable opportunity because we were looking for price to drop. Here we are. It does drop, but then it pulls back. So this daily candle close is not the one that I would be dropping. So overall, the bias is still to the downside. We see bearishness in the candle, but I don't like these two pins. So that's an indecision or a spinning top candle. So we just wait for price to show us the hand, and we go to a different chart that would have a better opportunity that day. So let's see what we get here. We are back to the top. We haven't quite broken out of this range here. So as we can see, price goes into the bottom, pushes up, goes into the top, and then pulls back, but we are pressuring into the top here. So we need to essentially see a close either to the high or above the range or below the range, and it's just been range bound for the moment. Now this one does look like a morning star, but again we need a close above the range. So what I would be looking for would be price to break above, pull back, and hold above this top of the range. So with this one I would be cautious. Again, want to trade another chart, so not this one, but I am looking for an opportunity for a breakout to the upside. And we haven't broken out, so we're still range bound. We're back into the middle of the range, so I will look for a price to drop to the bottom of the range. Let's see. Here we are, drops to the bottom, and then it may go test the bottom of the range again, and it may try to break again. It didn't do that. It went to the high of the range, and now we have a pin bar. So I'm looking for price to go lower again. So we're just range bound here. So price drops a little bit, but now this is the first a really good candle we have had that has closed above this previous range. So we sat in this range forever, and now we have broken to the upside here. So I would be looking for price to move higher from here. So let's see. Here we go. So that's a nice back test. Price comes back into it, and then we have a good solid candle close to the upside. So again, looking for another candle to the upside here. We get a pullback, which is normal. Still looking for price to move up higher. And here we are. It moves higher, but into the next area of support and resistance. And we get a pin bar. So here price goes and tests the support and resistance level. So again, this is a tradable opportunity as well. So normally when we get big moves up like this, we expect to pull back, and we're looking for next move to the upside. So this would be a tradable opportunity. So again, we find the market direction on our daily chart, and then we trade the lower time frame chart here. So with this one here, that looks bearish to me in the sense that that's a big pin. We are into support. So with this one, this kind of thing, what could happen is price could pull back here and then drop further, or it can just push into the resistance here. So my bias would be more of a drop after a pullback. So let's see. So there we go. This is what I was talking about. Price can push up higher and then drop. So now we have a nice bearish candle close. Bias still stays to the downside. So let's take a look. It drops a little bit, but we have a bullish candle close here. So now we are starting to trade in this little range here. So we went from this range to the range higher. So overall bias is still upwards. Now I'm looking for price to go test the high once again. Let's see. Here we go. And we have another pin. Twice price has tested the high. So now I'm looking for it to drop again. So basically what we're trying to see is we're looking for price to break to the upside. But because we have rejection here, I'm looking for it to drop. So essentially, we are assessing it day by day as we go. So one thing to remember about this is you can apply the same concept to 4-hour candles, to an hourly candle. It's the same bar by bar analysis. But generally what happens is when you're looking at a daily candle, the move will be much larger than what you would see on a candle that is more hourly or a shorter time frame. So just the length of the move will be different. Okay, so we have a pin now, looking for it to drop. Let's see. We get another pin, so another test. I was looking for a move like this. Price pushes up and then drops, but no, this one, it has pushed up higher. And still looking for price to drop, but we do have bullishness. Price is holding above this previous level, but still has, but we are into resistance. So let's take a look, looking for it to drop a little bit here. Now it breaks through. So it does not drop, holds the high here. And now we have a big bullish candle close. Okay, so now looking for price to pull back a bit and go higher. That's bullish. So my bias is bullish. Let's take a look. Pull back and looking for it to go further up. Now we get a doji. So that's not a good tradable candle. So it goes both ways. It does go up, but then goes both ways, right? So this one, I would skip this day and I will look for a different chart. So let's see what it gives us. Another doji. So price is really indecisive. It is holding these previous highs though, but again, indecisive. So we need to see price push down here and then go up higher. So let's see if we get that. There we go. Price is pushed both ways. So we are still, so we basically with this one, we're going from range to range to range. So this is not a good solid trend. And we wouldn't really be looking to trade the trend here. This is more of a trending move. This is just range bound. This one, I would just, range keeps shifting upwards. So overall, there's still that bullish bias. And this is more of a swing trading opportunity here because price is pushing higher, but it just keeps ranging for days. So you're sitting in this forever. So for day trading, not the best one. With this one here, we have a nice bearish, almost like a big pin bar here. Now looking for price to either come into this level here, which is our resistance now turning support, previous resistance turning support, and then test this level and then go up higher, or break through and come back into this range and then trail to the downside. So with this one, we have to wait and see. We need either a close above to go further, or we need a close below the trend line to go further down. So let's take a look. Okay, so now that is good. This is what I was talking about, how price will come. I was looking for price to test this level and then close either below or above. So this is what happens in real life. So this is why we do this exercise, because you keep seeing this stuff over and over again. And more we practice it, the better we become at seeing this stuff. Okay, so now we are pushing into the highs. We have tested the trend line here, tested our previous support, resistance level turning support, and now looking for price to go higher. Let's see if it does that. Sideways again, not really going anywhere. So that there's this resistance, it keeps getting stuck here. So we need to see a close above this for it to go higher. There we go. So as I was saying, overall move is still to the upside here. So we are closing, we finally closed above the pin. So looking for it to go test this level higher here. And it's sideways pulling back into our previous resistance level. And here we go, test the high here. So this is, now we are back into this previous support and resistance. We see big rejection here. Now we could see a drop, but then before it drops, we could see the price go all the way here or even slightly higher to test this previous resistance level before it drops, but looking for price to drop after this big pin. So it pushes higher, it drops a little bit, pushes higher, and now we have a close right into the highs here, kind of like this. So this one, not a good tradable opportunity, because even though it is a good, strong, bullish candle close, we are right into resistance. So again, if it could do one of these and then turn around. So we don't know at this point. So we have to, again, go find a different opportunity to trade than this one. Or we could trade it on a smaller time frame, like an hourly chart or something. We're looking for price to show us its hand. So either it will break through, pull back and hold above for a breakout to the upside, or it's going to turn around and close below. So on a 1 hour chart, or a smaller time frame chart, we'll be able to see this rejection here. So let's see which one it gives us. So this is what I was talking about. A lot of times we can get this. So this is why, even though that was a good, strong candle close, we were right into resistance. So now this candle here looks just like this one. And so we have a bearish candle. We have railroad tracks essentially here. So looking for price to drop. Let's see. There we go. Again, we have a good candle close. We are into support here now, though. So looking for price to drop further, but I would be mindful of this support. So there's still a tradable opportunity. There's 50 pips here. So we could still trade this. Let's take a look, looking for it to drop. And it did not. So we are still holding above this support level here. So this is the day we would be totally wrong. Now we are pushing higher. That's a bullish engulfing candle close. So again, looking for a retest of the high. And this time we could go even higher all the way up there. So there's room, but we would have to be careful with this little zone of resistance that we have here. So bias is still to the upside. Here we go. Now we are again testing this previous level. We pushed up and then closed below. So this is, there's sellers sitting here. So overall bias is still to the upside. With this one, again, I would be careful. I am looking for price to move higher, but we could get a reversal here as well because of this big pin, which is not good. So let's take a look. So this here looks just like this candle. So it's a lot of repetitive stuff. As we can see, this candle looks like this candle. So what happened after this candle? We got one of these. So let's see what we get after this one. So basically what this means is that we are into resistance, and there are problems. There could be potential problems here. So let's take a look. Here we are. So now we have a doji here, a little pin bar type thing, gravestone doji. So with this one, that's twice price has rejected. So like I was saying, there's bullishness in this candle, but there's also sellers sitting there. So we got that. That's why we got that push lower here. So now looking for price to drop, but again, it can go test all the way up here. So we have to be careful, but I'm looking for price to drop. Here we go. That's our drop. Now looking for price to, so we are still, the lows are still higher. So it's looking for price to drop further here. That's our drop. Here we go. Now a big drop. So I would look for a pullback into potentially into this support resistance level here. But the bias now is solidly to the downside. So let's take a look. My bias is to the downside here. So we got a pullback. I was looking for a pullback into this level, but it pulled all the way back here into the pins. So, so now the bias is still to the downside because we don't have bullish engulfing candle close. So let's take a look. So here we go. The bias still remains to the downside. Here we are. And now the candles are getting smaller. So bias is still to the downside, but I would be cautious. We are coming into the bottom here where price responded from. So let's see. So bias is to the downside. Here we are. So price is having trouble with this level now. Okay, so we are rejecting this area here as well that I was looking for price to react at. Now, this is not the best tradable opportunity here. Again, this will be another one where we look for something else. Now we have a solid candle close above, so looking for price to move up higher. And it pulls back still. So we have a rejection here. So price is just going sideways. So what we are seeing here is price just tends to, it's going into these ranges. So it went up. Now we are in sideways range here. So it could drop here. So this is a little bit of a mess. Not the best one to trade, but let's see what we get. Okay, price holds higher. So this is a good sign. So now we're looking for price to go higher back into these highs. There we are. So see how it does a back test of this level. So that's what I was referring to back here. We can usually get, when we have large candles, price can usually pull back and then push higher. So same thing here, price pulls down and then goes up higher. So we don't want to take a trade at that high here at the top. We want to wait for a pullback and then enter the trade. So now I'm still looking for price to go test the highs here. Let's see. So here we are back into the highs. Now with this candle close, so we have pins on both sides. That would not, that makes it a little, okay. So we are into resistance. So I would be careful with this one. It's not a great idea to buy into resistance. So let's see. So this would be another one of those days where we look for another chart to trade. So let's see. This is why. So now we have prices just going sideways. We have dropped here, but it hasn't really, we don't have a good solid candle close. For example, this candle here was a solid bearish candle. This one here has pins on the bottom, pin on the top, pins on both sides, and not the best one to trade. So let's take a look. And now we go higher. All right, so I think we will close off here. You guys have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you on Monday. Bye for now.